So many moms need to hear that. And not to throw boys under the bus, but I hear that more from, sister who has a nephew. It's like, if I get called one more time,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah,
like, God, you created them to be these wild and fun and gregarious humans and girls too. But that is such a good reminder. Thank you
yeah.
for sharing
Yeah,
that.
girls have their own stuff, I've got 3 girls and 1 boy, so I could fill your ear with all the stuff you have to pray for your girls.
Maybe more of those words, the
Yeah,
words and
yeah.
emotions. Okay, so tell us and this is a personal question, but as I'm launching, Ella's off to Auburn and all the feels with that. So what did that look like in their college years? Did you, and maybe speak to the mom like me that's going, dang it, I didn't do the hands. Like I did them 1 year, but I forgot. So it's never too late. I'm like, I can pick a verse for her for this school year, of her freshman year of college, and specifically pray kind of that long-term prayer. So any thoughts for us, high school, college
Yes,
mamas?
and you know what? I love that you thought to ask that because I think there's so many of us who do think, "Dang it." Like my own mother, when my book came out, she's like, "Man, I wish I'd have had that." And I'm thinking, "Did you think we turned out that bad?" 'Cause she's like, "If only I'd have had the prayers." But I do think, for the mom who didn't start out that way, when your child is in high school or in college, you can absolutely begin praying the scriptures for, my books are for your teens or for your adult children. And honestly, I think there is something to be said for doing that for these young these teens and these young adults because they understand it. Like my
Yeah.
young children, they loved the feeling of having their hand traced. They wanted me to trace their, every body part. They thought it was so fun to have the pencil go around them. But I think for the older kids to know that this is a verse that you really feel like, or a couple verses that you really feel like God's put on your heart to pray for them. And if your teenagers roll your eyes, let me just tell you, or roll their eyes, mine did too. They were just like, Mom, you pray about everything. And and they just thought it was a little strange. In fact, one time when I was at a speaking engagement, my daughter Virginia came with me. She was a young adult, and somebody said, "I got a question for you. How'd you feel about having this praying mom?" And she said, "I didn't like it." She was praying about everything. She was praying we'd get caught, and we were always getting caught. And but but as our kids grow up now with my young adult children, they are delighting to hear what I'm praying for. And when they have kids of their own, they're wanting me to pray for those children. So hang in there, mama. Your kids will come around. Right now, they might be giving you the stiff arm and the side eye, but keep that prayers going because you know what? That gives your kids security. There's nothing like knowing your earthly parent is talking to your
Yeah.
heavenly parent
Wow.
about you with love.
Wow. It's so good. I even thought about this morning, I was drying my hair. I thought I have been praying these journal for 2 years. This will be our third season. And I didn't really tell my girls. I thought they knew about it, but one of mine had lunch with a mentor and she said, I pray with your mom on Mondays. She was like, what? And she's like, no, your mom prays for you on Mondays and by name. And so it was news to them. And I thought that's such a good encouragement for us, even if they roll our eyes to say, hey, I'm praying this for you this week or whatever. And if they don't come back with like, I love you, mom. You're just the most committed. It's
Yes.
still good for them to know that is a
Absolutely, and they
regular habit.
probably won't, mama. They probably won't come back and say, wow, that was so great that you prayed for me, or you did such a great, faithful job at that. I mean, there have been times when my adult children have said that, thanks be to God. But mamas, one of the things I want us to do for each other is to say, good job, mama, or it was a
Yeah.
delight to pray with you today or for you today. God put you on my heart today. Because I think we're not always going to get it from our kids. So we need to give that to each other, saying, hang in there.
Yeah. So good. I talked to our buddy Elizabeth this morning and she was like, you're a girl's girl, but you are a mom's mom, Jody. Like you just champion moms in the most beautiful way. And it's really a part of who you are. And so thank you for being here. You're the perfect guest to kick off this school year. And I'm just so thankful for our friendship.